It may surprise you, it may even shock you, but if you are seeing this message right now, it's no accident. This is your sign. This is your moment. And what I'm about to reveal to you is something that most people will never be allowed to hear, much less understand. But if this video found you, then you are not most people. You are one of the few. The ones marked from birth. The ones encoded with a higher mission. And what you're about to learn has the potential to unlock something extraordinary in your life. Chosen one, a forbidden secret opens your door to abundance. That phrase wasn't just meant to sound powerful. It's a spiritual key, a frequency, a reminder. Because this world has hidden the real meaning of abundance behind illusions, distractions, and fear. They've tried to convince you it's only about money, only about what you can hold in your hand. But deep down, you've always known that abundance is something more, something sacred, something that flows through the unseen currents of the universe. You've seen it all around you, people chasing things, getting things, and still feeling empty. And maybe you've wondered why things haven't flowed as easily for you. Even though your heart is purer, your mind is deeper, your spirit is stronger. There's a reason for that. A reason hidden behind layers of deception. And today, that veil gets lifted. But before we dive into this ancient knowledge, I need you to do something sacred. Like this video to anchor the energy into your timeline. Subscribe, because this path is just beginning. And most importantly, comment 77 below to send your signal to the universe, a declaration that you're ready to receive what's been hidden. Play this video on repeat if you must, because the more you hear these words, the more they awaken the codes inside of you. And know this, if you are a true chosen one, you will watch this video until the very end. Not out of curiosity, but because your soul will not let you turn away. But if you are not chosen, the frequency will simply push you out. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. The seed of lack was never yours. Since you were a child, they planted something inside of you. Not with your permission. Not through consent. It was subtle. A whisper here, a silence there. A punishment for dreaming too big. A smirk when you said what you wanted to become. Do you remember the moment the world first told you, that's not realistic? That was not just a comment. That was a seed, the seed of lack. And it didn't belong to you. That seed was never yours to carry, but they made you water it. With fear. With shame. With guilt. And slowly, without realizing it, you started to prune your dreams. You clipped your wings in exchange for approval. You bent your brilliance just to make others comfortable. You were never broken, you were simply adapting to a broken world. You were not born to struggle. You were not born to chase crumbs while others feast. The very essence of your soul was crafted in realms of infinite light, of overflowing creation. Your spirit holds the echoes of stars and the memory of realms that know no hunger, no lack, no need, only eternal provision. But when you arrived on Earth, the world around you was already sick with scarcity. A sickness passed from generation to generation like an invisible disease. And so they taught you their fear. Not because they wanted to hurt you, but because it's all they knew. Scarcity was their god. And they needed new believers. They didn't understand what you were. They saw your curiosity as rebellion, your passion as arrogance, your quiet power as strangeness. And yet, beneath their misunderstanding, something in them feared you. Because even in your smallest state, you carried a vibration they couldn't suppress. You didn't fit the mold. You didn't blend in. You couldn't be programmed like the others, not fully. And that made you dangerous. But you, chosen one, never truly believed the lies. Even as a child, you asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. Why can't we have more? Why is that not possible? Why do some people suffer while others don't? You didn't know it yet, but your soul was already rejecting the illusion, the lie of lack. You could feel, even then, that something wasn't right, like the entire world was pretending and you were the only one still awake inside the dream. You see, abundance is not just about having. It's about being. It's about alignment. When you are aligned with your truth, the universe cannot help but pour into you. That's how it's designed. You are a magnet for miracles, but only when you remember who you are. Your soul is encoded to thrive, to flourish, to overflow. Not out of ego, but out of divine design. But they tried everything to make you forget. They disguised lack as virtue. They told you it was noble to struggle, that you should be humble, that you should be grateful for what you have, even when it wasn't enough. They wanted you to believe that having less made you more holy, that poverty was somehow spiritual, that desire was dangerous. They tried to turn your longing into sin, your ambition into shame, your dreams into a burden. But here's the forbidden truth: desire is divine. And those who desire more are not out of greed, but out of alignment with their purpose, are not sinners. They are creators, mirrors of the source. When you dream big, when you hunger for expansion, when you chase freedom, you are imitating the very force that created the stars. The source never shrinks. It expands. And so do you. You felt guilty for wanting more, haven't you? Guilty for dreaming of luxury, of peace, of comfort, of joy that doesn't require suffering as payment. But what if I told you that your desire wasn't the problem, your programming was? What if the guilt you carry was never yours in the first place, but an inheritance from those who didn't know better? The system you were born into was never designed to empower you. It was built to feed off of you. And the most dangerous thing you could ever do within that system is awaken. Because when a chosen one remembers their truth, their value, their power, the system loses a battery. It loses control. And that's why they work so hard to keep you in survival mode. To keep you busy. To keep you distracted. To keep you too tired to remember. You've noticed it. The way unexpected bills show up right when you start to feel stable. The way relationships fall apart right when you begin to rise. The way your mind spirals with doubt the moment you take a leap. That's not coincidence. That's programming. That's the energetic net tightening. They engineered your life to glitch every time you get close to clarity. But what they didn't expect was your resilience. They underestimated your memory. They underestimated the codes inside of you. You see, every time they tried to bury you, they forgot one thing: you were a seed. And seeds, when buried, do not die. They grow. In silence. In darkness. In secret. And now, your roots are deep. Your light is rising. Your truth is waking up. But here's the part they never expected: you didn't break. You bent, yes. You cried, yes. But you didn't surrender your light. And that's why this message found you. That's why the forbidden secret is ready to be revealed. Because you were willing to keep walking, even when the path was invisible. Because you dared to hope when everything told you not to. Because something in you, ancient and wild, refused to go numb. So let's make it visible now. Understand this: abundance is not something you chase. It's something you reveal. It is already coded within you. But the lock was never outside, the lock was your belief. And the key? It's this truth: you are worthy simply because you exist. You do not need to earn abundance. You are the evidence of it. Your heartbeat, your breath, your presence, all proof that you were made by a source that lacks nothing. No more proving. No more begging. No more shrinking. No more apologies for wanting a life that feels whole. Let the others call it delusion. Let them mock your faith. Because while they wait for permission, you are reclaiming your birthright. You are no longer asking. You are remembering. And remembering is the most dangerous act of all, because it sets you free. Chosen one, you've only just begun. Chapter 2, The Architecture of Illusion. If you could see the blueprint they built for you, it would terrify you. Not because it's filled with monsters, but because of how subtle, how precise, how calculated it truly is. The illusion wasn't random. It was designed. From your first steps, to your first heartbreak, to the way you view money, love, time, and even your own self, every piece was a part of a grid meant to keep you inside. A silent prison. A perfectly constructed architecture of limitation. You were trained to believe in ceilings. Invisible ones. You were told this is how far people like you can go. You were given unspoken rules: don't want too much, don't ask too many questions, don't outshine the crowd, don't make others uncomfortable with your light. You learned to settle, to shrink, to lower your voice when your truth burned inside you like fire. And yet, you always felt the edge of something more. Like a world behind the world. Like a secret frequency that only your heart could hear. You'd look around and see people satisfied with surface pleasures, addicted to distractions, loyal to routines that dulled their souls, and you knew deep down, this is not all there is. But the illusion is heavy. It wears the skin of safety. It convinces you that staying inside the lines is wisdom. That comfort is the goal. That freedom is foolishness. But let me tell you something. True abundance begins the moment you dare to question the lie. The lie that you have to trade time for money. The lie that success only comes through exhaustion. The lie that suffering is honorable. The lie that you must wait for a miracle instead of realizing that you are the miracle. The forbidden secret they never wanted you to realize is this: the system was not made to support you. It was made to suppress you. And once you see the trap, you cannot unsee it. That's why awakening is painful. It shatters everything you thought was real. It isolates you. You try to go back, but the food tastes different, the conversations sound hollow, the dreams of the old world no longer stir you. That's not a crisis, that's evolution. Because chosen one, the world you were born into is not the world you were made for. You are not here to survive their matrix. You are here to recode it. But first, you must step outside of it. And that begins with your mind. Your beliefs. The way you speak. The way you feel about wealth, worthiness, and the divine flow that moves through all things. Until now, you've been programmed to resist that flow. But now you are remembering how to merge with it. Abundance cannot enter a mind still loyal to lack. So the illusion had to be exposed. And that's what's happening to you now. The veil is lifting. And though it hurts, though it feels like loss, you are being returned to your original design. And here's the real twist: the system fears your abundance. Not your money, not your possessions, but your radiance. Your power, your influence. Because when a chosen one becomes abundant, they become unstoppable. They speak with a different tone. They walk with a different frequency. They create ripples in the collective that no algorithm can mute. You were never meant to blend in. You were always meant to break through. So let them call you crazy. Let them say you've changed. Because in truth, you were never like them to begin with. Chapter 3: The Currency of Frequency. They told you money was paper, that it came from effort, from trade, from labor, that the harder you worked, the more you would have. That value was created through exhaustion. They never told you the deeper truth, that money, real money, is energy. That the true currency of this universe is frequency. That wealth is not something you chase. It's something you tune into. Abundance does not respond to hustle. It responds to resonance. If you raise your frequency, you change your financial reality. It's not about working harder. It's about vibrating higher, aligning deeper, allowing more. That's the forbidden knowledge. And that's why they buried it under layers of shame, ridicule, and complexity. Because if the masses ever truly knew that abundance is vibrational, not material, the entire game would be over. Control would vanish. The chains would dissolve. People would no longer be driven by fear. They would be led by frequency. That's why they keep you in fear. Fear is the lowest frequency on the spectrum of creation. It cuts you off from flow. It distorts your perception. It shrinks your aura. When you live in fear, you become predictable, controllable, manipulable. You become a slave to the grind, convinced it's noble. Trapped in cycles of earning your worth. But chosen one, you were never meant to grind. You were meant to glow, to flow, to receive with ease and walk in energetic harmony. The ones who control the world understand energy. They may not speak it in spiritual language, but they understand how it works. They use it. They weaponize it. They manipulate collective emotion through media, through music, through fear-laced events, through constant crises. Their goal is simple: keep the global vibration low. Keep the collective locked in survival. Because they know exactly what would happen if even a fraction of the chosen ones remembered their frequency. If even a small number activated their codes, raised their resonance, and walked in their truth, the entire system would collapse overnight. You felt this before. Glimpses of your true state. Moments where you felt high on life, no drugs, no reason, just a sudden burst of clarity, of power, of lightness. It was like your soul breaking through the noise. That was the real you. That was your natural frequency. The version of you untouched by programming. But what happened next? A crash. A sudden doubt. A triggering thought. An old fear. A past wound. That wasn't random. That was the matrix trying to pull you back in. That was the old frequency saying, not so fast. Stay where it's familiar. Stay small. But what if you stopped falling for it? What if you learned how to stabilize the high? What if joy became your baseline, not your reward? What if peace became your standard, not your vacation? What if you knew how to hold the vibration of gratitude, joy, clarity, and certainty even when storms formed around you? That's what the awakened do. That's what the abundant ones understand. It's not about never feeling low. It's about returning to truth faster than before. Realizing that your power is not in staying perfect, but in realigning quickly. Because here is the truth: your abundance isn't waiting. It's responding. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every feeling you cultivate, it's all sending signals. Signals that either attract your blessings or delay them. The universe is not punishing you. It's mirroring you. And when you stop sending mixed messages, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, the blessings stop getting rerouted. They land. Instantly. Directly. Undeniably. So monitor your vibration. Be intentional with your energy. Speak with power. Move with clarity. Listen to what you're broadcasting. Are you sending out fear or faith? Are you vibrating in lack or uncertainty? Feed your spirit the way you were trained to feed your fears. Prioritize alignment the way you used to prioritize approval. Because once you understand frequency, once you live by frequency, you no longer wait for abundance. You become it. You walk into a room and shift its vibration. You speak and reality rearranges around your words. You stop begging the world to give you what you already carry. You move like the embodiment of overflow, because you are the overflow. This is the currency of the cosmos. And now, you are fluent. Chapter 4, Breaking the Soul Contract with Struggle. Somewhere along your soul's journey, a contract was signed. Not in ink. Not with words. But with energy. An invisible pact, forged in the fires of pain and conditioning. It was the silent agreement, I will struggle, if that's what it takes to be loved. I will dim my light, if that's what it takes to be safe. I will suffer, if that's what it takes to be seen. I will break myself into pieces, if that's the price for belonging. But that contract is void now. It was never sacred. It was survival. A coping mechanism carved from lifetimes of being unseen, unheard, unvalued. And chosen one, your season of survival is over. Your timeline of endurance has served its purpose. You are no longer required to bleed just to belong. You are no longer required to suffer to be spiritual. You are no longer required to be broke in order to be worthy. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to remember everything. Struggle was the story they gave you, a story passed down like inheritance. Woven into lullabies, prayers, proverbs. The idea that the more you suffer, the more deserving you are. The more pain you endure, the closer you must be to God. The more you sacrifice, the more righteous you appear. But those were survival codes, not divine laws. And now they must be released. Because peace is the birthright you came to reclaim. Yes, your ancestors struggled. Yes, they endured the fire so you could stand in the light. But they did not do it so you could carry the same chains. They did it in hopes that one day, someone would have the courage to break the pattern. To say, it ends with me. And that someone is you. Breaking the soul contract doesn't mean you reject discipline. It doesn't mean you run from challenge. It means you stop worshipping pain. It means you stop measuring your value by how much you can endure. It means you stop believing that every breakthrough has to come through breakdown. That every lesson must come through loss. It means you stop associating progress with punishment and transformation with torment. You've had enough heartbreaks, enough betrayals, enough sleepless nights wrapped in spiritual warfare. The universe has seen your devotion. Your growth, your grit, the quiet nights you prayed without words, the moments you gave when you had nothing, the times you smiled when your soul was bleeding. And now it's time to receive from ease, not just from effort, from alignment, not just agony, from joy, not just resilience. And yes, they won't like that. The people still bonded to struggle, the ones who wear their pain like a badge, they will shame your joy. They'll call your peace privilege. They'll say you're lucky. They'll say you've changed. But what they really mean is, I'm still in the contract, and your freedom threatens my cage. They have not yet realized they are free to walk away from it too. Let them talk. You didn't come to this world to earn worth. You came to express it. You came to show what it looks like when divinity remembers itself in human form. And from now on, your energy must speak that truth, loudly, unapologetically, consistently. Let your peace be louder than your pain. Let your joy interrupt every inherited narrative of lack. Let your abundance be your revolution. Because struggle is not your identity. It was only your initiation. And now you graduate. You rise. Chapter 5: The Abundance Blueprint. There is a blueprint inside you. A divine design hidden beneath the programming, beneath the pain, beneath the expectations that never fit. It's ancient, sacred, and entirely yours. It's been waiting, not for a sign, not for permission, not for some external confirmation, but for your remembrance. Not learning, not earning, remembering. Because everything you need, everything you seek, has already been encoded within you. You've been looking for the path, searching in books, mentors, courses, even in the eyes of those who couldn't see you. But the truth is, you are not meant to find the path. You are meant to remember that you are the path. You are the light. You are the vessel. You are the map and the destination. Every step you take from within alignment creates the road ahead. The abundance you seek has been trying to reach you for years. It circled your life more times than you can count. But every time it knocked, it found the wrong version of you at the door, the version still molded by fear, still cloaked in doubt, still carrying the weight of guilt that wasn't even yours. So it passed by, not as punishment, but as protection. Because true abundance, lasting, soul-aligned abundance, requires energetic readiness. Not just wanting it, but being it. And now, finally, the version of you that can receive is rising. Not because you forced it, but because you surrendered to the truth. The blueprint is activating. You're dreaming bolder, speaking clearer, walking lighter. And you may not see all the changes with your physical eyes just yet, but your vibration has already shifted. The signal you're sending into the quantum is different. The architecture of your future is realigning, quietly but powerfully. This is what they fear most, a chosen one with clarity. Because when you remember your blueprint, you stop begging for breadcrumbs. You stop shrinking to fit their rooms. You stop looking outside for validation. You stop asking for access. You stop seeking permission. You build the door. You become the code. And suddenly, you don't need to be given abundance, you generate it. You radiate it. You are it. The abundance blueprint doesn't follow logic. It doesn't play by their rules. It doesn't ask for timelines or guarantees. It follows faith. It requires you to leap before you're ready, to speak truth before it's popular, to move before it's visible, to sow before the harvest shows. That's the paradox. That's the design. That's the test. And chosen one, you are ready now. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You were just decoding. Every setback was a recalibration. Every delay was a hidden activation. Every closed door was redirection. Every loss was a clearing for something far greater. And now the codes are unlocking. You'll begin to notice synchronicities, not because they're new, but because your eyes are finally open to them. You'll begin to feel drawn to people, places, and practices that resonate with the deeper truth of who you are. You'll feel less need to explain and more desire to embody. That's the blueprint taking shape. There will still be moments of doubt. That's normal. But they will no longer hold the same power. Because you'll be grounded in something deeper than belief, you'll be anchored in knowing. A knowing that cannot be stolen, faked, or taught. Only remembered. You are not here to copy anyone else's version of abundance. You are here to embody your own, uniquely designed, divinely orchestrated, undeniably yours. And when you walk in that truth, the universe responds. Not with delay, not with resistance, but with doors, with overflow, with divine ease. The blueprint has always been inside you. Now you're finally listening. Now you're finally ready to live it. Chapter 6: The Power of Permission. They never told you that permission was never meant to come from outside. In fact, they made sure you believed the opposite. They embedded the illusion early, that you had to wait, that you needed a certificate, a degree, a title, a follow account, an invitation from someone above you. They conditioned you to chase approval like oxygen. But chosen one, listen carefully. There is no one above you in the energetic hierarchy of your soul's purpose. You are the permission. You always were. You were born as a sovereign frequency, a living yes, a divine blueprint in motion. But look at how masterfully they trained you. From childhood, you were taught to ask before speaking, to raise your hand, to wait your turn, to keep your truth quiet unless it was convenient. You were rewarded for compliance, not courage. You were praised for fitting in, not standing out. And over time, that inner knowing, that wild, radiant truth inside you, became a whisper. They taught you to outsource your voice, your worth, your readiness. They made you believe that the dream inside you needed validation from someone outside of you. That someone had to deem you qualified. That you needed to be chosen, selected, approved. And every time you deferred your inner knowing, your light dimmed a little more. They gave you role models who looked nothing like you. Gurus who spoke in ways you couldn't relate to. Systems that rewarded obedience, not originality. Environments that praised repetition but feared creativity. They made success look like something far, far away, as if it were a place only a select few could enter if they played by the rules. But here's the truth they never told you: the rules were never made for your kind. You're not here to follow a path. You're here to forge one. You're here to walk where there is no map. To build what has never been built. And the moment you stop waiting, the door appears. The moment you stop asking, the energy moves. The moment you say, "I give myself permission to rise," the universe begins rearranging itself in your favor. Because energy doesn't respond to begging. It responds to being. So ask yourself, chosen one, who are you willing to be? Are you willing to be the one who walks through the door with no map? The one who blesses their own voice? The one who doesn't shrink when their light is too bright for the room? The one who doesn't wait to be invited, but builds the table, sets the seats, and dares to sit at the head of it? Because the truth is, abundance doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when you decide. When you embody readiness. When you stop waiting for signs and start becoming the sign. When you shift from "can I" to "I am." When you stop asking, "what if it doesn't work?" and begin declaring, "what if it must?" Every limitation you feel right now, whether it's money, opportunity, support, or clarity, it's tied to a belief. A belief that someone else holds the key. But that belief is the cage. That belief is the illusion. And chosen one, you were not born to live in cages built by the insecure. You were not created to wait for approval from those who don't even understand your mission. You were born to fly in realms untouched by fear, to live in timelines ungoverned by permission. So close your eyes for a moment and feel it, the version of you who gives yourself full permission to shine, to receive, to rest, to thrive. That version already exists. She's not a fantasy. She's a frequency. She's already encoded into your destiny. You're not trying to become her. You're trying to remember her. And the only thing keeping her quiet is your hesitation. But when you stop resisting her, she rises. She leads. She magnetizes. Let this be the moment you break the contract with waiting. Let this be the chapter where you stop auditioning for a role that was already yours. Let this be the sacred pause where you reclaim your yes without explanation. Let this be the time where your permission becomes louder than your programming, louder than your fears, louder than their rules. Because when you say yes to your soul, the universe says yes to you. And that is the key. Chapter 7, The Revelation of Receiving. We've spoken of programming, illusion, energy, and contracts. But none of it matters, not truly, if you do not allow yourself to receive. And this, chosen one, is the final gate. The last frontier. The place where most fall short. Not because they are unworthy, but because they still believe they must earn what has already been theirs from the beginning. They still think they must prove something to be blessed. Receiving is not passive. It is not weakness. It is not waiting with hands outstretched in desperation. No, receiving is an act of mastery, of alignment, of deep, sacred surrender. It is the moment you unclench your spiritual fists and say, I trust the flow. It is when you move from a mindset of needing to control everything into a frequency that allows everything to come to you with grace. Most people are addicted to the chase. Even when they say they want abundance, they keep running from it through their need to control outcomes. They ask for blessings, then panic when blessings arrive in unfamiliar form. They pray for peace, and when peace knocks, they mistake it for boredom. They sabotage the love they once cried for. They question the money when it shows up without toil. They reject help because they were taught that needing others makes you weak. They confuse effort with value. But you are different now. You are learning how to receive without guilt, without apology, without explanation. You are learning that you do not have to apologize for the overflow, that you do not need to make it fair for everyone else by dimming your shine, that your joy does not need to be hidden just because someone else is still in process. You are learning that your blessings don't take away from anyone else, they expand the field for everyone. This is your revelation. Receiving is not selfish. It is sacred. Because when you receive in full, you become a beacon. You become the living proof. You become the walking example that shows others what's possible when you say yes to your divinity. You cannot inspire anyone by starving yourself. You don't awaken others by playing small. You inspire by thriving. You give others permission to rise by rising yourself. And yes, some will call you arrogant. Some will say, must be nice. Some will project their own scarcity onto your abundance. But you will know the truth, your abundance was not about luck. It was about alignment. It was about healing the parts of you that didn't think you were enough. About releasing the inherited beliefs that told you to stay small. About choosing truth over comfort again and again. You earned this not through endless pain, but through remembrance. Through coming back home to the self that always knew. So breathe it in. Let the blessings find you without resistance. Let the miracles land without second guessing. Let the opportunities appear and say yes without fear. Let the money come without guilt or delay. Let the love arrive without sabotage. Let the joy rise without justification. This is your new normal. This is your energetic standard. You don't owe the world your struggle. You owe it your radiance, your wholeness, your overflow. That's how you serve. That's how you lead. That's how you shift timelines, by receiving in full without shrinking to make others comfortable. And as you rise in abundance, in energy, in love, in wealth, in peace, remember this, you were never chasing abundance. Abundance was always chasing you. It just needed you to stop running. It just needed you to be still long enough to feel worthy of it. This is not the end. This is the new beginning. You are now in the frequency. You are now the portal. And everything you once sought is already on its way. It is done. It is yours. It is now. If you made it here, chosen one, you already know. Something ancient inside you has awakened. The codes have been activated. The lies of lack no longer hold power. The illusions have shattered. You are no longer becoming, you are remembering. Now is the time to walk in alignment, to embody the abundance that's always been yours. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. Like this video to anchor this energy into your timeline. Subscribe to stay on the frequency. And comment 77 below to signal the universe that you're ready to receive without resistance. Play this video on repeat if your spirit calls for it, because every time you listen, the vibration strengthens. Your door to abundance is already open. All you have to do now is step through it. And never look back.